Okay, the next project is a Polaris DBAT. It's a Barrus ALV, Countryman's agricultural light vehicle, ALV. It's Deisel, and the tires are well worn on it. We're going to see about getting it going. Tires are well worn on it, and I've got more tires. It has four-wheel drive, 4x4, and this is the back wheel hub, and it's missing all the splines. They're stripped out of it, so I'm going to replace that. Let's see how I get on. It's a good workhorse. Okay, so I have the covers off, I have the wheels off. The wheels are going to get new tires. Some covers off, still need to take a few more. Here's the nest of wires. That all needs to be tidied up. If you look down here, the brake is jammed on and it's broken. The pad is broken, so that's why it's jammed on. And the other side has no caliper. It's missing the caliper. It looks like the bearings are gone in the housing there, so we'll get that fixed up as well. This is the rear axle bearing housing. I'm just in the process of cleaning it up. I'm after removing the old worn bearings, and I'm just cleaning it up now. So okay, I'm after putting in the bearings and the seals on the end. I reused the seals, probably not meant to do that, but they didn't look too bad, and I wanted to save a little bit of money, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I just popped them in there, put a piece of wood over the bearing and hit it in with a hammer, and then used a socket at the right size to push it in the rest of the way. And same on the other side. There's a little piece of cylinder pipe inside that goes lengthwise, so I put that in obviously before I closed the other side. I put a grease nipple on it, and I have filled it up with grease as much as I can put in there, so I hope there's enough, and we'll see how we go from that. So let's see. So the number on this one is, part number is 563032. There's a second to at the end, so it's 563032. And the bearings that were in it were 6007-C3. If anybody's doing it, that might come in handy for you. Okay, so going to clean off this a little bit more. I'm going to clean off the axle now and reassemble it back on the quad eventually. There was just, these are the old bearings, there was just a little bit of play. Just a tiny little bit of play, but that's little bit of play was enough to make the whole thing rock. Right. Okay, here's the axle back together the way I think it goes. Okay, so I didn't take off from here. Okay, obviously the brake disc is well rusted and there's no caliper for that. It's missing and the caliper support is broken. I can't see a part number on it, and as there's no caliper, I'm not going to use that. I'm just going to rely on the front brakes and the main brake, the foot brake. So if needs be, I will change it at a later date, but I don't think it's needed for our use. Okay, the bearing housing is on. Then comes the chain sprocket. It is a 4-wheel vehicle, but I think this axle is off a 6x6 because there's a second sprocket to go back to the rear tires. I think this is the mid axle off another quad. So if anybody knows exactly what part it is, what quad this axle is supposed to be on, please let me know. Okay, then there's this fella. There's a spacer in there between the sprockets and on this side as well. And then there's a nut. Not sure how tight to have this. I don't want it too tight or else it will make things harder to move. Also, should there be another nut here to stop that from opening back up to lock it? And then that's where the other hub goes. Currently that hub is stripped out and I'm waiting on a replacement to arrive. It might take a few weeks. Okay. So we have it that far now, which is good. The bearing housing is missing, has 2 pieces broken off in it. I think it's just to keep it in place, to lock it in place so you can't turn it all the way around. But I think we'll be okay. These grooves here are for the bolts. The bolts hold it in place. And then to put tension on your chain, you just rotate that around till it takes the slap out of the chain, because it's thicker on one side than the other. And tighten up the bolts. I think with this nut I either need to put Loctite on it or put another nut, if I could find one. Again, let me know in the comments if you have any ideas of what way this is supposed to be or what I'm supposed to use. Is there supposed to be another nut here, or is there supposed to be or am I supposed to use Loctite? Thank you. Okay, so that's so I've replaced the bearings in the wheel housing, the rear axle housing, replaced the oil in the front hubs. There was grease in one of the hubs instead of oil. The 4-wheel drive does not work. I need to check that another time. The switch works, well, as in it's not corroded, and I've tested it with a multimeter and it works. I've replaced the back hub on this side and that's working now. So it's a 2-wheel drive quad at the moment rather than just one. I'm waiting on lights to come in for the front display. I fixed up the wiring. I've cleaned it up and I saw that it wasn't being grounded to the chassis, so this is my ground to the chassis now. And the brakes don't work, but I have more calipers ordered. It's missing the calipers, so once they come in I'll get them fitted and then it should be up and going. Okay, good enough for our use.